Welcome back, everybody. You're with us here on Sport Federation TV. And of course, as you know, we talk about our various sport codes in the Western Cape. Sport code we haven't spoken to for a while, which is one of our official federations across South Africa as a national and an international sport code, is of course Bridge. Western Cape Bridge is an active member of the Provincial Sport Confederation, active across the various districts, and in fact active across South Africa. To tell me a little bit more about Bridge in South Africa and specifically in the Western Cape, I've got Neil Hayward in studio with us. Neil, welcome to Sport Federation TV.
Thank you, JP.
First time for you on?
First time on.
Yeah.
Second time on TV altogether.
Yeah.
I used to do something on the rain-affected matches and the specific formula they used in India. That was from me, from Rondebosch Boys High School to me to the world, to the ICC. So that was my other time.
So that's of course your world of cricket.
Yes.
Yes, it was a household name. So everybody knows the name Neil Hayward. But your topic today and your passion being Bridge.
That's correct.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in Bridge?
Well, my parents, my father was a sheep farmer in the Karoo between Beaufort West and Graafrenet, district called Aberdeen. You don't get it much more arid than that. And there are no TV in those days, so they taught us bridge as youngsters.
Yeah.
And then I picked it up round about university time again, with there having been a gap. So that was the way it worked.
So from an activity point of view, I mean, a lot of people don't think of bridge as a sport, but it is. It's one of the recognized sport codes. There are thousands of bridge players in South Africa and, of course, globally. How's bridge doing in South Africa?
Okay, as you say, it's a mind sport. They call it a mind sport. That's its official title. It took a knock with COVID, and during the COVID years, it went online a lot. So players obviously weren't playing face-to-face. But in making a comeback, in the Western Cape, I think the numbers are quite healthy. They always seem to be quite pessimistic about the game, and they say, you know, it's struggling against all the attractions of this world, what with WhatsApp and all sorts of online things. But I think it's holding its own. People make the assumption that it's dipping a bit, but I think there are good signs. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the last that we spoke about bridge, we saw that there was some growth in the school space and that there were actually some schools starting to play bridge.
Yes, unfortunately with COVID, that's sort of fallen away. And we have a plan to market the game to folk a little older. Because the thing with school children is there's a gap in their lives before they're really able to pick it up again. So for that reason, we're aiming differently, but we have big plans to bring in more people into the game. But as I say, it's more healthy than I think people expected it might be.
Yeah.
They're just pessimistic about it, but it's not true. I mean, I think the numbers are much healthier than people would have predicted.
Yeah. At work, how do you translate that into a physical sense when you talk about a table? You're also the tournament director for Western Cape Bridge. Is Bridge, I mean, give it to us for folks that have never seen this show before or have never seen Bridge in action. Is it 4 person per table or 2 at a table?
4 per table, has to be 4.
Yeah.
And you 2 are in a partnership. Now you must understand that immediately means that it's unlike any other game I know, that you and another brain across the table have to cooperate, and you really do need 2 brains to hit one wavelength. And if you don't hit that one wavelength, you're destined for disaster.
So do they have to train, like do you have to prepare as a sync, as a team?
As a team, the best players on the planet have 500 pages of codes they have to learn.
Wow.
And you will see them when they're flying off to a big tournament. It's so difficult to keep these in your mind that in the airport lounge, there they are studying away. They're top of the world, but they're furiously studying away. So you do have to talk a lot about what meanings are, codes.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that you're not allowed to have a single code which is secret to you. Now, when people come into the bridge game, they think they can just do anything they like, and they know what the meaning is. So you talk to one another, and they think they can bamboozle the other lot. You're not allowed to have a single secret that you keep away from your opponent.
From your opponent, so your opponent must know your game plan.
Everything you do, your game plan, you have to, and those who start think that's ridiculous. You know, in rugby you have your secret signals that you want to send, but in bridge you can't do this. You absolutely have to share all your codes and signals.
So you brought a couple of things with you. I know that it's difficult for us to show, but does bridge, I mean, we always think of bridge as you need a pack of cards and that's it. But you've got all sorts of props and gadgets. What do you need to make a game of bridge work?
So at duplicate level, which is the heavy competitive level, sorry to stretch down here.
Yeah.
We use boards like this.
All
and
right.
you'll see there is a bit of red, a bit of green in the middle.
Okay.
And that's to represent vulnerability.
Okay.
And if you're vulnerable, which is red, and you can see that's north-south, and those vulnerabilities vary and just rotate, then if you go down, fail to make your committed contract, the cost is heavy.
Right.
But in return, the reward is very good. So you've got to balance whether you're going to go big and hope to get a good score, but in the meantime, you're risking going down, because it's easier to go down the more tricks you undertake to make.
So does each table have one of these next to them then?
One tends to have 2 or 3 of those per table.
Okay, okay.
And you'll see that there are 4 slots.
Yes.
And everybody pulls the cards out of those slots.
Okay.
And at the end, they push them straight back in. And now
right.
the fascinating part is that that board, with exactly the same cards in exactly the same places, will go all around the room, and everybody gets to play that board. And you can say, but you had good cards. That's what normally happens in social bridge.
Yeah.
But duplicate bridge is such that everybody gets exactly the same cards, and all your scores are compared. So if you make 10 tricks and you think that's very good, other people are making 11 because of skill. So that's the comparison you get.
So you have a lot of people that are playing social bridge who are out there who you don't necessarily know about. Can they join a club somewhere that they can join part of Western Cape Bridge and be exposed to your expertise and your competitive structures?
They can. The Western Cape Bridge Union has a website. And if you go there, you'll see all the clubs and you can make contact with them.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what, duplicate bridge takes your game up to a new level. A lot of people don't know about it. There's social players galore out there.
Yeah.
I know one lady who is going to have a tournament at the Steenberg Golf Club in aid of breast cancer awareness and research. She organized 160 people.
Wow.
2/3 of whom come from the world of social bridge. And those are the only people she knows.
Yeah.
I offered to bring in more, but she, hang on, we haven't got so much space. So that was it. So there are a lot out there.
And it's one of those things that brings people together. People sharing stories. It helps with that community environment, and it really is a way of contributing to the world of sport.
It does. Look, in the bridge clubs, you become a family in a sense. You become a family of bridge players, and you share your stories, lots of banter and so on. And in retirement villages around the world, it's huge.
Yeah.
And you'll get people might play in 2 or 3 different groups in a week.
Yeah.
And it gets them up. They have to dress up. They can't slough around in their slippers and dressing gowns. And they interact, and that's very good. And the game is such that no matter what level you're at, the game will meet you at that level.
Have you got any big competitions coming up? What's next on the calendar for Western Cape Bridge?
Next on the calendar will be the Teams of 4 event.
Right.
The first week or 2 in June.
Right.
So Teams of 4 means that you have one pair sitting north-south at a table, and in the distance in the same room, your teammates, your other 2 forming your team of 4, they sit east-west.
Right.
And so if you have good cards, and of course good cards, lots of aces and kings, allow you to dominate that hand. But the thing is that your opponents will get exactly the same hand using the board that you just showed.
Yeah.
And they will receive exactly the same cards and see whether they can use greater skill to get more out of those cards than you did.
And where would we see this event? Is it open to the public? Where would one ordinarily, where would the guys go play? Is it here in Cape Town? Is it a club or on a field?
It's in Greenpoint.
It's in
at
Greenpoint?
The Western Cape Bridge Union's headquarters.
Yeah.
Near to the tennis courts. And yes, you can come along. It's on the 8th and 9th. That's Saturday and Sunday, the 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
And you can watch.
Yeah.
And it's best just to go to the website and look up the details of the Western Cape Bridge Union Teams of 4 event.
Neil, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for joining us. We're going to have to get a lot of pictures in, and we're going to have to get you guys back in because we want to know how our bridge athletes are performing, if they're getting their provincial colors, if they're getting their Protea colors and flying the flag for South Africa. So we can't wait to get you back.
Okay, I look forward to that. Thanks very much, JP.
There we go.
Thank you.
There we go, folks. Neil Hayward is, of course, Tournament Director for Western Cape Bridge, as well a coach for Western Cape Bridge. What a fantastic sport for you to get yourself involved in. And reach out to Western Cape Bridge and find out where there's a club near you. And I'm sure that somebody's going to be able to help you, even if you want to just get started in the world of bridge, whether it be social or competitive. Western Cape Bridge can help you with that. That's a wrap from us. Stick around. We'll be back in a sec.